So the Combine is underway, which means we get to hear from a lot of NFL head coaches, including one Mike McCarthy. A lot of questions. What exactly is he going to do with the Cowboys? Could he potentially be on the hot seat heading into next season? You can see the Cowboys under Mike McCarthy over the past 2 seasons. 2020, not so great, 6-10. 2021, a little bit better, but they lost in the first round of the playoffs there. It's been a minute since the Cowboys have gone far in the postseason. It's been a long time since they reached the Super Bowl. Here's more from Mike McCarthy.
All right, good afternoon. Questions, please.
When did y'all get over the end of the season, or are you over it, or how mentally, from a mental standpoint?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you have to. I think like most of us, you watch the playoffs, if you can. Watch the final game if you can. But really, that Tuesday after the Super Bowl is really when our off-season program started as far as the meetings. We've concluded all the exit interviews. So I would say we're clearly past last year. I mean, but we're all, obviously mindful of things we need to continue to look at and pay it forward. But, yeah, we're definitely past that. I don't know. I mean, what do you know? So I guess that'd be the first part. I think a big part of, job description and job responsibility. I mean, it's different for, every team you're a part of. I think it's definitely something that it's a moving target, and I think every head coach goes through it. You have to be where you need to be. I know that's been my path from year 1 to year 2, now going into year 3. So, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the things we're doing on offense, you go back, you look at year 1. The goal was to keep as much of the language and as much fundamental concepts that Dak was. We felt that we could pull forward, but more importantly, have a philosophy, a structure, that I've obviously accustomed to over almost a 30-year period here. So. Yeah, so I don't really know how to answer that as far as what are we comparing it to. But I can say this: moving forward. That's where I'm going to be, from a priority. That is my priority moving into year 3.
Mike, this is your first year since you were hired that Dak is under contract for sure. What does that mean for him? And at this time of the year, what is he need to be focused on?
I think like a lot of guys, it's obviously a very difficult end of the season. I think Dak has done a good job of getting away and processing it, but he's back at it. He's been in the building. Actually, he was one of I think we had one of 8 players that had postseason surgery. So he had a cleanup of his left shoulder. So it's something that needed to be done. So he's rehabbing that, but he's starting his process to get back into it. If you walk in our facility today, you'll probably see 20-25 players already there working out. So I mean, it's. We have a great bunch of guys. Love the locker room. So I think as guys start to come back, into the fold, you can see the commitment that they have, and so I do feel like we have turned the page, and I think Dak has started his process.
What did he go back to the limit?
I'm sorry. To clean up of his left shoulder. No, I don't see it. It's not a concern. We have no concern. He's doing well. I'm sorry. I don't think so. I mean, Dak practiced. He practiced. Full go. Throughout. But it's just something that he felt like he needed to get cleaned up.
Who else had surgery? Say with 8 guys?
Yeah. I think Chauncey Golston, Brandon Smith, DT Darius Thompson, also Donovan Wilson. So I'm trying to think who else. Well, Michael Gallup, obviously. Randy Gregory, I think you guys already know about that. So.
Mike, how much do you like scouting combine location? What are your thoughts on maybe going to that?
Well, I mean, I love Indianapolis. I don't think you can not appreciate what Indianapolis means to the National Football League. I know personally for me as a head coach, in my time as a head coach, this is really kind of a starting line for me to get into the the draft process. From the end of the season to last week, we were full bore ahead of exit interviews, scheme evaluation, things like that. So, I don't think last year was odd, not going to Indianapolis for the combine. I mean, it's, to me, it's part of your process. I love the setup here. I think it's great. So I've always enjoyed coming here, and I think they do a great job hosting the combine.
Coach, how do you get Tony Pollard more involved this season?
Tony Pollard? Well, I think just like anything, we're looking at everything we do offensively. So much more is dictated on personnel groups, the timing of it. I think if you look at the start of our season, then you look at the adversity segments of our season, those are the things that, are we doing enough of this or enough of that as far as personnel groups? But Tony's a multi-positional player, so we just got to keep spreading him out, and I think we have a tremendous attack with both him and Zeke. Oh, yeah, I think it's only natural. Absolutely. I think now, I think where Kellen is in his career, we spend a lot of time, most of our offensive conversations are really in the area of self-scout. I think like anything, I think teams, I think the league in general, the opponent scout is pretty common. I think when you look at the way, the scheme evolves each year in our league, there's always trends that you follow. So I feel like we do a really good job of that. But, the longer I'm in this, the importance of self-scout, knowing yourself better than your opponent, it's just like anything in life. You have 100% of your time in that area of responsibility, how much you're going to spend on self-scout as opposed to opponents. So, I think as he continues to grow as a coordinator, I think it's only natural because now he has 3 years on him. He has 3 years that the book that, of how he calls things, more situational field position and, timing, adversity calls, all those things. So that's where the majority of our conversations go. I mean, he's very creative. I like his creativity, scheme development, and those things are. But I think now as we're going into this year, if you look at our roster last year, we had, 40 of the 84 guys were new players. So, and then you got to anticipate potentially, we're going to have a lot of young players on offense. So it's those kind of conversations of, how are we going to build this offense for this coming year? Whether the stress point's going to be, and because at the end of the day, going back to Tony Pollard, all these, you got to make sure you have the packages, at least in place conceptually. So when you shift gears and you hit those adversity moments during the course of a year, that you're able to lean on a Zeke or a Tony or, CD or, whatever how this thing shakes out. So.
And looking back, do you wish you would have used Tony more?
You've been listening to Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy there at the Combine in Indy. He's just one of several coaches, GMs, players that we're going to hear from this week. There you can see the upcoming press conferences. And this is just today here on CBS Sports HQ. Some of them we will bring to you live, so you can imagine exactly how the week is going to go there. We do have a crew there in Indy at the Combine. Keep it right here on CBS Sports HQ. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.